right, here we go with another goddamn new Guess Who Dis. And Brian,
I have to ask you that. I was like, Mike, who do you have?
yeah, that is true, guys. I was about to say for the first time, but this is not the first time. This is the second time. We got two of the boys, and possibly more. We'll see as this goes on. Two of the boys from Beheading the Icon. You know, one of them.
Hi.
Everyone deals with one of them, which is me.
Yeah, everyone's forced to deal with one of them. Now, to the other boy in Beheading the Icon, you want to tell the audience what your name is?
Am I the other boy?
You're the other boy.
Yeah, I am Ryan.
This is not fucking
Yeah, I was like,
working
oh,
here.
oh,
Sorry, I am Ryan that starts with an R, not a B.
Oh, yeah.
Ryan and Brian.
Well, it's a B, but the B is silent. So okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. We have nicknames. So I'm Brian Erkberg. He's Ryan. He's Daddy Ryan Knight.
Daddy Ryan.
Yeah.
Now,
You'd be surprised though with Ryan how weirdly, like, anytime I'm on the phone with anybody, if they ask for my name and I'll say it's Ryan and they go, "Oh, Brian, how do you spell that B?" And
You
I'm
want
like,
to know
"No,
what's so
it's,
funny?
It's Ryan.
I
Just,
give 'em
you
my
don't
name.
have to add a B.
I give them my name, and they take away the B at times. It's Brian. Ryan?
Right.
No, B. Yeah, that's funny.
So my last name is Maskas, Maskas, and every single time, without fail, Mike Vasquez. It's like, no, what?
Vasky, huh?
Yeah. Well, we like I said, we've done this before. I honestly don't think we dipped too far into your band's history because we were playing silly games back then, Brian.
Yeah, pretty much. But this time, it's your turn to lay all the questions.
Oh,
You have to ask me everything now. Let me get on the Zoom call real quick.
Oh, yeah, that would be funny.
I'll do the best I can with some history. I'm not.
Okay.
Not the best.
So he technically
We'll see.
knows more than me because I joined. And
I was going to say,
later, but, yeah.
is there founding members? Like, you know how like every band, you might have revolving members, but would you say there are a couple members that have, like, I guess, the most seniority? Or
I would say that would be Matt.
okay.
Because I remember
Oh, yeah.
when I first saw Beheading the Icon back in like 2008
right.
with the core lineup back then. I didn't see Matt in the band back then, but apparently he was in the band and he just wasn't able to play shows. He would have to answer that. I'm not exactly sure, but he was part of that lineup back then.
Okay.
And yeah, I remember seeing him back then in a comic shop that we played. And just seeing the drummer was like 12 at the time, and he was playing blast beats, which, I didn't know what blast beats were when I was 12. So I was kind of jealous of that. But
Yeah.
then later on, as time went on, and then even it was during COVID, I got a call from Jason at the time that he was talking with Matt about rekindling Beheading the Icon, and asked if I'd be interested in trying out. And I said, yeah, I'm down. Let's try it out. And it was him and Osville at the time too came, and we were just basically going to collaborate and see
what happens.
what we could do. Yeah. Bring back an old name and start a new fire.
See, no, that's the thing. I never knew Beheading was around that long ago. I thought it was like you guys started at like what 2020, but I was like, oh
Yeah. Around this time, actually, like April, May, well, it's March, but yeah, you know what I mean. Like, it was during COVID. It was like, let's we're bored. We want to practice and play music.
I mean, that's the only thing we could do at the time,
Mm-hmm.
Well, I haven't really. I could say honestly, like, I did not really know you guys until Brian here joined. But I remember when he did, I got an early taste of what you guys sounded like, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, y'all were so tight. I guess that would be the best compliment I could give you guys is the amount of tightness and how y'all are on like the same page is very like, like you might hear a band's like, album or whatever, and you're like, oh, this sounds great, but then you see them live and it's a little looser or whatever. I would say that the music that you guys release is very much on par with what you guys actually sound like when you're live.
And I guess the thing that's also crazy about it is that I technically saw both First Step and Beheading in 2022, but we just didn't really speak to each other that day. But I was like,
really?
Yeah. So First Step.
Oh,
did a
yeah,
comeback
Lay,
show.
your story. I mean, I've heard it, but for the audience here.
I mean, that's technically the first time I saw Beheading, and then ever since then, I was practically the fan watching both bands play, and then I ended up joining First Step, and what's it called? I think it was December of 23, was it, Ryan? Or where you guys reached out to me? Around
Yeah,
there?
it was around that point. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was after the Livewire show the first Livewire show that we played. I think you were there, weren't you? It was
I wasn't able to make it that day, I think, but it was, you guys were playing that one. I think it was called Heaven and Hellfest is what it is, or?
Yeah, that's the one that I was solo guitar on that.
Right. I think Jay stepped down at the time, and then I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to learn everything I think it was like 3 days notice. I was like, I don't think I'll be able to learn that on time, but it's funny because I was telling Mike, I think I even mentioned it on the episode. At first I was like, do I really want to join a third band? I was like, maybe as a temp, and I remember saying that I was like, as a temp, but then days later, I think after the first jam session, I'm like, yeah, I'll consider it full time. I'm gonna regret this very badly if I don't. So I was like, I changed my mind. I'm not temper anymore.
No, it worked out great, man. I mean, I knew you were a quick learner, so
I try my best.
Yeah,
that's why I snatched him too for Vicious Attack.
Well, technically, he didn't snatch me. I've played with Vicious Attack a couple times before I was, officially in the band, but he snatched me years before.
During Vicious Attack's album cycle for Declaration of War, we had a lot of issues with like, people can't play these specific shows. So I started looking at it as like almost like a corporation, like a business move.
Franchise it.
Like, yeah. I was like, well, we have a backup drummer, who knows all of the stuff by heart.
That would be my former drummer, Bobby, from Central.
And I'm like, why don't we have a backup guitar player in case Kevin, like the other guitar player can't cover? And then I looked at myself. I'm like, why don't I learn all the bass stuff? So like we had this thing where like if one person couldn't do it, we saw what we could do to make it so that we could still play the show.
I essentially learned Kevin and his parts. Yeah. So first it was Kevin's parts in all, like I think it was like 15 songs,
something like that,
14, 15 songs, and then I had to learn his parts as well. It wasn't that hard because I already knew everything by the time, but most of it is similar, but there's stuff that he did differently than Kevin does. So essentially was
solo rhythms.
So it's
stuff.
like if there was a show he had to be on bass, I would be doing his parts. If there was a show where Kevin can't make it, then I would be doing Kevin entirely. So I was like,
wow,
I'd be all over the place.
There are some truly unique videos out there of like our live performances because of stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean it's fun, and that's what.
It just sounds like so much work, but
I will
I'm
say
not a fan of work.
there was a lot of sleepless nights involved with that. I'd be probably knocking out till like 3 a.m. because I'm practicing all the songs, and then at the time I was practicing Central Disorder, and it's like, so I'm doing both, back to back,
a lot of stuff.
So I was like, it was a lot of work, and I guess that's kind of what helped me, learn everything as quick as I can. I can't say I'm the fastest learner, but I try to, just be like on it. But also, just for the audience there, no, I don't want to join your band. I'm keeping it at this, kind of like how Franco would say it. Threesies. I am not looking to form anything or join anyone. I was like, I'm just keeping it this way. I'm like, nope, that's enough.
Yeah.
Oh, muscle memory Brian over here.
Yeah, I was like, nope, that's enough for me. I'm like, I don't. I was like, I'm good where I'm at right now. So I was like, nope.
I think in a previous episode, we were talking about like your EP release show and how obviously how well it went. I remember just I took the following day off. I was like ready, because I'd obviously seen you guys a bunch before that. I saw you guys at the Cobra Lounge. I'd seen you guys a couple times, and one of the memories that really stuck in my head before the Liveware Lounge show was you guys played like some cafe that was an upstairs cafe. Do you remember that? What it was called?
Upstairs cafe. I think he's talking about Recognition, maybe, or
it was in some suburb. And it was, say it?
Oh, Ashbury Coffee House. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
that was in February. That was actually my first show with Beheading.
No,
that was yeah. So yeah, it was a cafe where it was upstairs, right? And then the coffee shop was downstairs in Willow Springs. That was the Ashbury.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my first show with Beheading the Icon, and then second one was Up Sulphur, which is kind of funny. The
checkerboard floor, I think.
Yeah, so Ashbury, the stage is on the second floor. But what's funny about Up Sulphur is I think like by the time that was announced, I was already in the band, but I was keeping it a secret, going like, yeah, I'm proud of the boys and Beheading, getting this sick opportunity. It was pretty funny. Like the people that knew were laughing, and then everyone else is like, was like, oh, that's sick. They're getting a show, and then
they're like, why do you keep posting about this band?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure some were like, why is he posting about
subliminal messages? Subliminal messages.
I was like, no, I'm just a fan, guys. But yeah, that's funny.
My point,
I'm the fan who basically became a part of the band as well.
Yeah. Well, my point is with the Ashbury Coffee House. I remember thinking, I'm like, God damn, like it was so crowded, and y'all.
I am so sorry, Mike. My door is ringing right now. Let me.
Okay, we'll take a little.
Get back to you guys in a minute. I will make this quick.
Okay.
Right back.
Alrighty.
Sure.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
And I'm back.
There you are.
Nice.
Yeah. Want to see the pizza I got? It looks like pizza.
There you go.
It looks like
pizza. That's good. There you go. Cheesy crust.
It's got that cheesy. Yeah, there it is.
Peeking out. Nice live cheesy crust. I like it.
That's
dope. Easy jalapeno. I don't know about their jalapenos very much, but
yeah.
Where is the pepperoni, sir?
Where's the cheese? It's under the sauce.
No, so I was gonna bring up something. He's like, oh, I thought you were gonna say you're a vegetarian, and I'm like, I was gonna say the famous quote from what's it called? I think it was Portage, Wisconsin. So for context's sake, we were driving there. He wanted to stop at Culver's for a veggie burger, and then Osvo yells, "What a fucking dickhead!" But it wasn't towards Ryan. It was towards the driver. But I just start laughing my ass off. I was like, the timing was impeccable. And then I was just like, "Wait, why are you laughing?" I'm like, did you not hear what you said?
Yeah, it was funny because I'm like, wait, Osvo likes veggie burgers. What is he talking about? Is he talking about himself?
He just yells out, "What a fucking dick!" And I was like, "What?"
Yeah, that reaction didn't match up.
I was like, "Whoa!"
Wait, so you're a vegetarian? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Not a vegan though. Okay.
No, not that extreme.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I've seen you eat cheese. I'm like, unless there's some new weird rules that I'm unaware of.
No, I think that
that's a vegan. If vegans don't eat cheese,
okay,
they don't eat. They don't like
dairy. Yes, I know.
Yeah, so they don't
no fun.
No fun.
No fun. No cheese curds. Get out of my face.
Get out of my face. Yeah, no, that was a funny memory.
But yes, I think, for fuck's sake, I gotta finish my thought here. The Ashbury Coffee House. I remember seeing you guys there and just being like, God damn, there are so many children here. Like there was a lot of young people there. And when
there
you
was
guys,
a big scene. Yeah. They had quite a scene out there.
Well,
I was surprised.
I think like 2 bands had gone up and then you guys were up and you guys just destroyed, Everyone was going nuts, and I was like, Jesus, this is like, that was not the first time I had seen you guys, I don't think, at that point, because I'm like, I'd seen you at the Cobra Lounge. I can't remember if that was before.
So
or after.
that was actually after.
That was after. Yeah. Are you sure?
That was
the one with the Evangelist,
Manifestations,
Denier,
and then Volturus.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That was after.
Well, my point.
That was a show we put together.
Yeah, it was like what, the end of March of last year, I think. That was a fun one.
Yeah, it was around this time.
That was a pretty fun one too.
Yeah, I guess my point is I very early I was like, God, these guys are fucking, like, even, you know, like from the live aspect, all of you were very like active, just jumping around and really into it. And I think when you have a strong stage presence, you kind of, it affects everybody else, you know?
Yeah.
So and you guys had that, so everyone was just kind of like losing their mind. Obviously, they were digging the music too, but you know, everyone.
Oh yeah, a lot of that comes from like a long time ago. I remember I played in a band, and there was about 10 people watching, and it was pretty disappointing. You know, at playing many shows, and then like I was younger and kind of dumb, but I just kind of stood there like bitter, like, yeah, this show sucks. But then somebody told me afterwards, dude, don't ever do that. Just go nuts every time. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Might as well just do that. Just go nuts every time. That does not matter if there's like one person watching, or always play like if there's a decent sized audience. You know,
I used to be the same
Can't
way,
take it away.
back then too. I wouldn't say the show sucks, but I wouldn't move as much. I'll try moving a little bit, but yeah, back then I guess like that was also tough on like my motivation on, you know, trying to put on performance. I mean, now I'm just like, whatever, whoever shows up, like I'm just gonna go, you know, wild on stage. But back, like, I think when I was like 19, I was a rookie playing shows, but regardless, I was like, yeah, I used to do the exact same thing, so I can relate to that. And then eventually I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm like, whoever shows up, you know, gets a show. And right, you know, like, I mean, there's gonna be places where you'll get a crowd, and some places you won't, but hey,
yeah,
all that matters is you're having fun with it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I will say that like shows nowadays have been way better than they were like 10, 15 years ago when I played in a different band. I mean, it was almost like, it was kind of like, it was also because my other band, Nevertheless Vain, when we were playing shows around 2010, 2011, it was it was really difficult to get people to come to shows because that was a transition from MySpace to Facebook, where it was just a disaster of like for bands back then. So I was like in the middle of that. And then like I had another band around 2016, 17, Filth Sermon. That was I noticed there was a bigger scene happening too. And then I took another break, and then 2020 rolls around, and there's like bands everywhere. And
the Chicago metal scene is so incredibly saturated right now.
Yeah. Right now it is definitely like super saturated.
So, you know, I've kind of talked about the group as a whole, and you know what, on the Christmas episode, we talked a little bit in depth of, you know, obviously your singer. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? You know, you've mentioned 2 bands there. Are they kind of more or less the same style of what you're playing now? Or, you know, like, I guess let's just start with, like, your guitar playing style. Like, who are your influences?
Oh, man. So it's not the best, my favorite question.
But I threw a lot at you.
It's always like, oh my God, there's so many. But when I was young, I was pretty much into a lot of, you know, back then, Metallica, Pantera, and even grunge rock at the time. Like one of the bands that got me into wanting to play guitar, a lot of people don't really know them. I mean, maybe they do. I'd be surprised, and we can have a conversation. That'd be great. But a band called Silverchair from like 93, 94. They were an Australian grunge rock band. But and then they're still around today, but their music is absolutely nothing like it was in the beginning. It's a little bit more easy listening in a way.
Okay.
But yeah, influence, like I liked Korn. I liked all the new metal bands as well. And dip my into the cookie cutter death metal back then, which was Cannibal Corpse, and I got into grindcore and stuff by downloading a lot of music. Pig Destroyer was, of course, up there. Of course, a lot of people know of Anal Cunt. I always thought those song names were just wild, and I'm like, let me download this, and that. And everything is gay. This is just hateful.
Fucked. Yeah, I remember me and my guitar player used to sing this one Anal Cunt song at each other. We'd be like, la, 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 la. I don't know if you're, it's like, so I'm not that kind of boy. La, la, la,
Yeah.
la, 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 la.
I know which song you're talking about.
I gotta find it. It's been a long time.
I remember, I was like, I know which one. I don't know the name, but I'm like, I know which. Is it just
very gay?
So funny though. I remember it.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting.
For one, no, you're good, man. I'd say like for a virtuoso guitarist, one that stands out to me the most is Joe Satriani.
Okay.
He's one of my all-time favorites, and
Really?
I kind of have been dipping into stage inspiration. I wore shades at the last show. I feel like I want to do that all the time.
Yeah, you did.
The only problem is that they slip right off my head if I get too sweaty.
Yeah.
So I gotta figure out. Yeah, but yeah, his demeanor, his style, his guitar is pretty cool. I would get it if it wasn't,
$1,000 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that Dimebag Darrell, of course, is a pioneer in guitar playing of metal and groove for years. I'm sorry, but I do not know very many death metal guitarists like by name. I just because there's so many bands now that all these members just blend after a while.
Yeah. I hear you.
I mean, and some of them have same members that always like, oh yeah, this guy was from this band and that band and that band, and
Mm-hmm. Like who's the guy in who's the guitarist in Morbid Angel?
That I can't remember him by name exactly.
I actually don't listen to Morbid Angel that much.
I do listen to them that much, but I don't know I don't know them as much like by memory. The ones I'm more familiar was like Death, Deicide, of course, and then Obituary as well. It's like I know a few. I don't know the members by name as much. I mean, except for like Ralph Tantala when he was in there, but. Yeah, the ones I'm like the like extremely familiar with is obviously Deicide, Death. Like I'll like talk about album errors with member changes and shit. But yeah,
I apologize to the audience, and
it's okay.
Yeah, you guys, we all got our death metal cards taken for that. And
oh yeah, I've got mine revoked for liking metalcore, so it's fine, and I still listen to
metalcore. Is all right. I love metalcore. Was one of my early introductions into heavier extreme stuff, like Remembering Never is a band I liked a lot. Converge, another band that I was heavily into. So, but yeah, that was the bands. But prior, like the Nevertheless Vain, who I mentioned, that's more of a metalcore band.
Okay.
That's pretty much a band that's on an indefinite hiatus. I can't say too much of what's going on with that, but. Mm-hmm. We still have a lot of material that we'd like to finish, and at this point, it's just the singer and I.
Okay.
Because the other guys, the drummer is always constantly working, and he's got a different life going on, and totally respect him. And then the second band I mentioned, the Filth Sermon, that band, I'm not sure. I left that band around 2017.
Right.
I had a problem. I had a situation in my family. My sister was passing away, so I wanted to be there with my family, and they were understandable about that. And I'm not sure where they are right now. I'm thinking like there's still 2 of those members. I think they still want to keep that project going. I'm not sure, but I haven't talked to them in a while. But now it's just Beheading the Icon and Thutch. So I'm also in Thutch.
Right.
He wears a mask.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, is it what kind of mask is it again? Is it like a wolf skull mask or?
It is. Yeah. It's wolf skull.
I was about to say deer. I'm like, no, I don't think it's a deer or elk. I was like, I think it resembles a wolf, but yeah.
It's Eddie I think Eddie mentioned that it's like a hellhound or that's the character that I played.
Okay.
The character is Jackie the Jackal. This is where you would talk with Eddie sometime in Dutch. Get him on a nice interview. I thought you guys didn't you guys interview Eddie from Dutch or no?
No, we interviewed Brandon from Dutch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fangus. That's his character.
Well, he was in the Christmas episode. It wasn't much of an interview, but okay. Well, any other questions, Mike? I was like, normally I would take the lead on questions, but I'm one of the members too.
Well, you could. I mean, yeah, you're in the band. You could still. I mean,
I'm joking.
Like, another thing that I complimented. Again, I have so much conversations with Brian over here, and I think something I mentioned on the episode was just how incredibly tight you guys are on stage as you are on the album, and I think a big reason for that little bit of gear talk. You guys run all in-ears. Correct.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen you guys move that little tower up there, and you got
Matt is the mastermind behind that. He pretty much he operates that thing, especially when it comes to setting up the click tracks. He's the brainiac behind all of that, which is it's crazy. Like, Matt does a fuck ton, for the band, and it's like holy shit,
like bringing a giant spaceship on stage.
Yeah, pretty much brings a giant spaceship on stage. He's just making sure everything is working the way it should. But yeah, he does a whole lot. I mean, especially aside from the spaceship he operates, he also is the guy who was mixing and mastering the EP as well. We pretty much recorded it with him, and yeah, it was. See, if he was on here, he would go more in depth as to the whole process, but it was very lengthy. Like, I think it was we were thinking, once because we tracked everything. What was it? Were we tracking in March or was it April? I think it was like that one period where we had no shows, like in March, because we had technically, I think Beheading had 3, and then First Step had 2. Or 3-ish around there, but it was. I know that month I played 5 shows, just almost every week. But I think there was that one period where I think neither bands were doing anything when it came to shows. So I think what was it mid-March when we started tracking Vitriol, or I can't remember exactly. It was sometime.
Yeah, because we kind of we basically were like,
are we going to record this or not? And then we're like, you know what? Let's just get it done now. Funny thing about Vitriol, so before I joined, I guess it's because Vitriol was a work in progress when Jay was around, right? Yeah. So it's funny how I guess I at the time as the fan, knew that was in the works, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to hear this, and time was just passing on, and I'm like, so I was always trying to ask you guys, I'm like, hey, so how's it going with it? But I was like, you know what, maybe there's it's probably in the process still. And then once I joined, I'm like, wow, I became the fan that was anticipating to the guy who who just stepped in, tried cleaning, just tracking, cleaning up a few parts here and there and all that. And, it was a fun process though. I mean, 10 out of 10 do it again. But yeah, we thought it was once we finished, I think we did this. It took us 4 days actually. I remember that. It was 4 days where we were just tracking guitars, making sure everything was right. Bass was being tracked. Oswald composed the drums and everything, and then he had to redo some parts. And yeah, it was a long process. We were thinking it might have been it was probably going to be a summer release, but yeah. It was extremely lengthy, but hey, just want to make sure everything's done right.
A lot of it had to do with just editing and getting the perfect tone of what we wanted.
Yeah, because it was we were just he would send us and be like, oh, it sounds good, but it could use a little more of this, that, just adjustments, and there was a lot of them. So it's kudos to Matt for that, because honestly, without him, I don't think sure we tracked it and everything, but without him, none of this would be possible. Especially for all of the shit he does. Like I said, setting up the click tracks and all that. He's the mastermind behind all of it.
Takes a lot of patience.
Yeah, a whole lot. And I can't imagine, how frustrating it is when things just don't work, I'm pretty sure it's extremely, just mind-boggling trying to figure all of it out. Because at some point I was thinking of trying to do something like that with Central, and then I looked into it and I'm like, this is a whole fucking rabbit hole. Like, just me. I mean, eventually, you know, I do want to step up like that, maybe for like VA, but yeah,
we
just
don't need the
looking
click
at
tracks.
well,
we just need the in-ear stuff.
well, I mean, the in-ear stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, it would also. Me personally, I like playing with click tracks. I'm so used to that at this point. I mean, you know, it's like if I don't hear the I was like, I don't know when we're starting at that point.
Yeah.
It's like,
No,
well,
it's
that's
funny,
what the drums are for.
see,
for the
that's the
longest
thing.
time. For the longest time, I used to be against all that kind of stuff. I'm like, nah, just play it raw. Who cares?
Yeah.
But noticing back then when I played in the bands, like while we played in like every other band that played, there was no in-ears. It wasn't as common as it is now.
Yeah, no, true.
It was just like mushiness all the time. And
yeah, and another issue with
now it's much tighter.
Yeah, and like the thing with me, well, see, like I do follow drums, but there are times where even I play a lot faster than I'm supposed to, or I skip a measure, and it's like it's like, but you know, ever since playing with in-ears, it's like, oh, this is so much better. I love this very much because I mean, sure, you know, like you said, yeah, we can rely on the drummer, and I'm not saying that, you know, like drummers are unreliable. I mean, some are, you know, but the thing is with me, it's like there's times where I slip, or it's like, oh, I'm skipping, or I think I've played this wrong, and it's like, this is, it's very tough for me. Like, I still can do it, but it's like I prefer just, you know, click tracks all the time now. It's like I'm just so used to it. I mean, even before, like I would struggle and be like, I think I sucked. Every show I'd be like, yep. I mean, I still say that. I was like, yeah, I sucked, but before it was so prevalent where it's like, man, I fucked up all over the place. I don't feel confident about my damn playing. Like that's just because of how you said it, how mushy it is. But
yeah, and all you can hear on a big stage, like if you're playing at WC, all you hear is just your amp, and then like maybe some of the bass, and then the kick drum and the snare. It's like all over there, and then the vocalist here and there, but you don't actually take it in within your head, and you can't, like, I mean, with that count, it makes sense too, because everybody's on tempo with each other. So
yeah, I mean, when I think this was like when the both times that Central and Beheading played at WC, I struggled so much, you know, trying to hear myself. I was like, I can't hear me. I think I'm fucking up. Oh, I need to turn up a little bit. Like, you would always see me messing with my knobs, and I'm like, I'm lost. Where are we? I'm like, but and everyone's like, oh, you sounded good. I'm like, are you sure? I don't think so. I think I sounded like dog water, but you know, that was just me. But
hot dog water.
Yo.
But yeah, no, I mean, there was practically that with the EP. You know, it was, what's it called? I think like there's another thing I would like to add. Also, like, you know, having Osbo designing the art for it, it's pretty dope that, you know, we practically have like a team of people that, you know, that bring their own stuff to the table. Yeah, have their expertise and have a lot to bring to the table. I mean, especially, you know, in terms of songwriting, like Matt has a couple of, you know, things, you know, he wants to work and, you know, for future stuff as well, you know, because though we released the EP, you know, we're trying to get moving on to practically the next thing, you know. You know, for the time being, why don't we move on to gear? Maybe, well, everyone knows mine, but I would, you know, you should tell everyone what you know, what kind of stuff you run.
So yeah, I got my guitar is a Schecter Research C. I guess that's the guitar it is. I got it for sale on Musician's Friend a year or so ago for like $500 when it goes for about $700.
Okay.
It's a 6-string. It's not a bad. I mean, it's it's the first guitar I've ever owned with EMG pickups. So
how do you like the feel of that Schecter?
It's cool.
Yeah.
I feel like Schecters get a bad rep for just being, you know, that metal guitar that Guitar Center always carries, but
for $800,
they are.
They have a bad rep because their guitars for a very specific period of time were just unplayable because of the thickness. The old stereotype, the baseball bat neck.
Yeah. How long ago was this? I don't remember this.
This was in the 90s. You know, there was a nice, like, 10 years where Schecters were just kind of really, really thick. You know, they had, like, I don't know if they have it anymore. They had models like the Griffin. That's what a nice get.
Well, I'm not familiar with the guitars of Schecter back then, but I wasn't a fan of them, especially one guitar that they had that just looked really fun. Or maybe I'm thinking of come on, bro. This is my cat, by the way. She's crawling all over me.
Nice cat.
But
what up, Franco?
Hey.
Yo.
Oh, hey,
Just
Franco.
caught us talking about gear.
Yeah.
What's up?
What's up?
Anyways, continue, Ryan, with your gear.
Your gear?
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that's my guitar. I plan on getting another. I don't know about a Schecter next. I'm not sure what guitar it'll be later on to decide that. But
how many
I have
strings?
It's 6 strings, man.
Ooh.
What are 7? No, I'm kidding. No, I would like to have a 7 someday. But I'm running through a Line 6 Helix. What is it? The LT?
LT.
The light? Yeah. And my cab is a Mojo Tone 2-speaker. Mojo Tone, I think it's like a custom cab company. I bought it for $300 from somebody off of Marketplace, and that thing's pretty tough. It's built it's built similar to a Marshall cab.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what other gear should strings are D'Addario.
D'Addario.
Is that how you say it? D'Addario?
NYXL, the best strings you can use.
Yeah. Those are the best, man. 11 to 56. That's my size.
That's your gauge. Yeah.
Yeah. Pig hog cables.
Oh, dude, I love pig hog cables.
I converted him actually, so I was like, "Yep, that's."
I like back in the Declaration of War album cycle for Vicious Attack. I was like on the hunt for endorsements, and out of like I think like a whole year of me just reaching out to companies, I reached out to Pig Hawk Cables, and they're like, well, like they said it very nicely. You're not really that big of a band to get an endorsement. However, we will give you the artist code. And ever since they gave me the code that they give the artists for discounts, I have been a very, very loyal Pig Hog cable user. Like all of my cables are Pig Hog.
He's been telling me to hop on Pig Hog because I would use
so long.
And then I was like, all right, I'll do it. And then it did it.
They're really good cables, and they have a lifetime warranty, and I will always shill for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're pretty solid. I like the ones that I got. Brian saved me about, I don't know, I was looking to spend over $100 on like Mogami and stuff, but I was like, nah, I'm just going to stick with this. I like a deal, and I like quality, so.
They're very good quality, despite... even though the one that I have almost makes me slip, the phone line looking one. It was like as soon as I step on it,
yeah.
But it's funny.
Yeah. How about you, bud? Guys, speaking to the audience now, another member. He's not some rando who just jumped into the chat. We got the bass player for Beheading the Icon, Franco.
Hello.
Woo. Golf clap.
Now, Franco, why don't you tell us about your gear?
My gear?
Yeah.
Special. Let's see. I got a, what is it? An Ernie Ball, or not even an Ernie Ball. It's a freaking sub-series bass that I've been playing on.
Okay.
Yeah, because I can't afford an Ernie Ball.
They're expensive.
I played one of my homies, Victor Prine's. I've played on it plenty of times, and after that, I was like, "Yo, I need this." Like, this is what I knew this was, so it's the close I can get to it. I've been playing on one of those. I have 2 of them, so I use that, and then I'm playing out of a really old Galleon Kruger like backline amp.
Okay, cool.
Max out the gain and the treble, like. Bass halfway, and that's it. That's my tone.
That's pretty good, man. When you guys play live, I would say the bass does really like pop. You really do hear it come through.
Good to hear. Yeah. Also, like I change my strings pretty frequently. Like I try to month at least.
Well, that's interesting because I that's like a stereotype, right? That bassists don't change the
Right.
strings.
Right. On the internet, like, yo, don't forget to change your strings.
All the time. I always see him record. Don't forget to change your strings, boys.
Yeah.
That's
so good.
funny.
Flat strings.
Yeah, not right, all times. I actually just ordered some. I got to put new strings for the show coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, speaking of strings, I'm doing the same thing because I change mine like monthly, or like every single month.
I've got so many goddamn guitars, man. I can't do that. I would go broke.
Well, the one I primarily use is obviously the Kiesel. Like, I have plenty of guitars, but that's the one that sees action. So it's like, oh, I gotta buy strings again.
Oh yeah, that's right. Brian is a member of this band too.
Everyone, but then again, everyone knows my gear, so that's totally fine. That's
he's got a Kiesel and he's got a Line 6. He swears by Kiesel.
Yeah, and Helix gang, all the way.
Helix gang.
Because I'm also Matt also sings through his Helix.
His Helix, and I have a Helix too.
Yeah, so pretty much every time we're playing live, you just see 3 Helixes just.
I will say this in this other band that I'm in. The other guitar player, he's got all these pedals, and he's like always testing something new out, like a preamp or something. And like,
There's somebody right here on the top left who would rock a pedal board before he got his Helix.
I got a pedal board too.
No, I know. I'm saying, I was like. I was this guy too. I was like,
I was the pedal maniac for a while.
He was. I was like, I don't know what you're doing with it, but maybe you should go in depth on the pedal board.
Oh, mine?
Yeah.
Mine was I kept mine. I kind of minimized it after a while. I used the MXR 5150. I guess that's what or the EVH pedal, and then I put it to the Tube Screamer. It gave it some good juice and clarity coming out of my Crate Blue Voodoo amp.
Nice.
And so the weight of my equipment has drastically come down a bit, which I'm very appreciative of. And then I had some Boss pedals on there. I love how guitarists, they have like these awesome boutique pedals on their boards.
Yeah.
Then I'm looking at my Boss pedals, like, let me try to do some more work here to make it. I'm never going to acquire those cool sounding boutique ones.
Well, it's like, I don't know. I love using my pedals, but like I was saying, with the other guitar player, he's messing around, he's tweaking, he's not quite there yet, and then I literally plug in the Helix, and all I have to do is turn it on, and it's like perfect every single time, no horrible feedback, and it's just kind of like, man, it sucks that I, part of being a guitar player is doing the tone chasing. You find your perfect tone, or you find the perfect tone. And then when we're finally in this age where you can just buy whatever your, a Neural DSP, a Kemper, a Head Rush, whatever your poison is essentially. And just kind of the tone chase kind of ends. You find it and you're like, oh no, this is perfect.
I never started on the tone chase because I am too much of an idiot caveman to figure out a pedal board. I am dead ass. So I skipped to the Pod Go because I'm like, this is simple. I kind of got the hang of it quick because every time I looked at a pedal board, it's like, and like especially when I saw Ryan's pedal board, I'm like, damn, I'm intimidated because I don't understand any of this. What are these daisy chains? What are this? Why is this pedal hook? How do you hook all of this up together? And I was like, I'm too much of an idiot for that.
Who is this daisy that this chain is named after?
Brian sets his Line 6 to insane.
There you go. I'm that boy.
Channel.
I'm that kid.
Rad.
I was that kid at Guitar Center setting it to insane because I don't understand these tones. I was like,
well, let's be honest. A lot of those Line 6 channels are just fucking awful. Hey,
man, I still use the insane channel to practice here and there when I walk in a room that has that spider amp. I just plug it in. I'm like, I got an idea.
Easy.
It's a good little drive-by idea.
Very easy distortion. Just straight go-to distortion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Monster Energy drinks.
Old Faithful.
Yeah, Old Faithful. I still have my Spider 75, Spider 3 75 watt amp.
Nice.
Yeah, I can't bring myself to get rid of it.
Nah, probably won't.
Yeah. All right, well, now that we have you on the call, Franco, Brian was telling me that with Beheading the Icon, we've kind of been all over the place,
Yeah.
He tells me that you are the one who handles most of the booking for the band.
Yeah, I do.
He's the booking agent.
He's the guy.
Why don't you tell us a little more insight about that, Franco?
Well, it's usually like it just started. People just messaging me all the time, like, "Hey, do you guys want to play this? Do you guys want to play this?" And it's just like, well, I just relay the message, and it's got to the point where like, okay, well, let's just do. I'll just do it.
Yeah.
Like, all right, well, I got a bunch of connects just from being in another band too, and that happens a lot with First Step to Glory. Like, we don't look for shows, we get asked. Like, it's been like that since we came back, so that was cool. But it's cool now with BTI. You can just like looking for expand further.
Right.
We're building up a good, decent rep to. They're like, yeah, we're interested, so that's cool.
That's always a plus when you play a show and then like a couple days later somebody from said show or somebody who saw that clip is like, hey, we're doing this stupid birthday metal show, or a month later you guys want to be on the lineup, and it's like, oh, nice.
It's fun.
Yeah. And that's pretty cool. I think booking is also pretty, like, coming out of the pandemic, finding shows at the beginning was very difficult, but I now think like now it's like boomed again. There's shows left and right.
Oh yeah, so much. So I've seen a lot more in shows during the weekdays now too. There's been a lot of Thursday action now too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like, probably one of the reasons why it was probably difficult, after lockdown, a lot of these people had to move on, from what they used to do because everything shut down. So it's like they got to make money,
Left and right. There was venues closing. There was a lot of bands breaking up, a lot of stuff going on. And, yeah, it was very uncertain. Venues that were open, it was very problematic at the time, a couple specifically, and then I'm thinking off the top of my head.
Which one?
Like the Brower House. There was that whole issue there.
Wire got sold as well.
That place was cool. We got to play it once.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Yeah, it's a good stage.
Yeah.
Big stage.
And then it got sold, and then after it was sold to someone else, it just shut down. That was, I think, last year too, no?
I think it was last year.
Yeah. So, it's
like,
wild.
Like March.
Yeah. I mean, and then, going back to finding, people, I think that's what happened to Central, because Central had a lot of, connections at some point, before COVID, from what you tell me. And then once we got out of the pandemic, everyone that, they knew, like, we pretty much knew at the time, just they don't book shows anymore, or there's
or venues were like, well, we don't even know if we're gonna open because of all this insanity, like, and then finally things started opening up again, and if there was shows, it was very slow. There was there was a couple policies at the beginning, like you have to prove vaccine, like have a vaccine card.
That was very annoying. I'll even, I'll even say that despite me, getting it and the booster, it's like, this is annoying because it's just gonna ruin, all of the shows that are going down, because not many people are gonna show up just because of that.
But then, I mean, now everything is just back to normal, and like we were saying before, there's like such a saturation of the Chicago metal scene again. So many people coming out for shows.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially when what's it called, like the EP release show. I think we can give more insight on that. Once I guess like the day of, we were expecting like maybe like a decent amount of people to show up, but then once it started, we're like, yo, this is packing up with a lot of people. What the fuck?
Yeah, that was actually booked on a 3 weeks notice because we decided last minute that we were gonna do it, and then we were having a hard time finding bands. Like everyone was busy, or like they couldn't make it. We're just like, yo, let's get.
Yeah, it was between holidays.
That too.
Right.
Yeah, I know it was between holidays, so we're like, we had our expectations. We didn't have our expectations, set too high or low, but it was like, it should be, average amount of, people. But no, that was, we were wrong. We're like, well, what the fuck happened here? It's like, holy shit.
That was pretty cool, man. I showed up late because I was working, and like I passed by like in the car, and I like kind of got to look inside. There's people in there already. I was like, oh, it looked kind of bad. Then I walked in, and I was like, yo, let's go. And it wasn't like barely like the first band was setting up. So
yeah, that's what I said too. Like when you stepped in, I was like, dude, look at this. I was like, holy shit.
Awesome, dude. It was pretty cool to see all the people come out on a short notice during holidays. It was fucking shitty out too. It was raining.
Oh yeah,
definitely. I mean, at least it wasn't snowing. Otherwise, that would have probably been a lot worse. But yeah, no, it was definitely a great time. But yeah, I remember it now. It was a short notice, and I was like, hey, let me know soon so I can request off.
Right.
Well, boys, I say we wrap up on this thought here. We've touched on the EP, we've touched on the current lineup of the band, and like how like your live setup is currently with like your in-ear systems and all that. How about what's going on with the future of Beheading the Icon here? A very very broad.
I don't know if I can say too much yet, depending on when this comes out, but we're just gonna fill the fuck out of the calendar. That's all. That's it.
Christmas album.
We're looking for hella action. So.
Yeah. Okay. So a lot of live shows. We've talked about in the episode. I think we have like 4 that we're gonna post coming up.
Yeah, it was. There's Hobart on April 12th. Am I right on that one, Franco?
Yeah, April 12th.
And then May 3rd, Sanctuary, Detroit.
Yeah, that one. I'm looking very forward to that one, dude.
Yeah, that's same. And then what's it called? Chicago Metal Pride Fest, and I think as of today, well, recording this, we're also going to be in Arkansas for that Pride Fest as well.
Arkansas,
right?
Which honestly pretty dope. But yeah, I mean, still more to come. Aside from other future plans, anything else you want to add, Ryan? For future plans aside from shows.
Future.
Well, yeah. So with the shows, we're not overbooking ourselves, which is cool. We have these radius clauses as well, and it gives us more time to kind of work on some newer material. We have another song that we're working on.
Yeah.
And I hope another song and another song after that. I would like to get as much material done as possible. Hoping that we can all do that in the band, and only time could tell, and our schedules have to align, and that's just how it works. And in this day and age of life, but we'll get there. But but these shows coming up, they're all pretty decent shows. I'm sorry, pretty decent. They're amazing shows. Everybody, all of you should come. So
travel out of state for us. Yeah,
right.
Party
we'll see you all there. We'll see you all there. All right.
We also, and then again, I forgot to mention this too. We're also opening up for Vulvodynia, Organectomy,
the big
Wormhole, and Last 10 Seconds of Life. Which that one I'm really fucking hyped for. It's like, damn,
that's gonna be nuts.
Can it be August already? I think it's on a Sunday, or is it?
Yeah, Sunday. I think it's August 3rd, I believe.
Yeah, that one was. I remember.
He was in the hospital when he told me.
These guys know, because I was like, I think that's when I was feeling better, and I was like, you want? I'm like, you guys want to run it? And I was like, yes, but I was typing with one hand that day. I was like, yeah, I'm down. because I had the IV hooked up over here, so I was like, I don't want to yank it on accident. So I was like, I'm down, guys. But yeah, no, I mean, like Ryan said, we got some stuff cooking. So far what would you say about the one song we have? It's practically completed, or it's still?
It's a little bit of tweaking and just practice, but I think
it's about 80% there.
Yeah.
So
nice.
As for the others, I mean, there's still a work in progress, But
fast. It's fast and violent, so expect that.
Very violent.
Fast, violent music. I love it.
I'll give a teaser. Huh?
There you go. That's all we can say.
That's all we can say.
Fast, violent music, and you got shows. I will say, you guys, by the next release or whatever, you guys, I was telling Brian this, you guys really should start working on some music videos, I learned that during the Declaration of War album cycle. People love when they can watch a video, and
we've been trying to get that done, but we just haven't been able to schedule it just for that. Always something that comes up, and I'll suggest a show, and we'll do that instead. It's just
It's not my fault they book us.
No, I mean everything else. Everything else you're doing correctly. You're doing the social media posts. You're doing the live videos. You're always keeping everything very current and everybody very informed. I will say that's it. I really think y'all should release some, do some music videos. I think that'd be good, or playthroughs, something like that.
No, for sure. Gotta get a music video.
Yeah.
TRL numbers up.
The BTI music video. I mean, I you know what? I forgot to mention this. We're on TikTok now, actually.
The TikTok, the Chinese TikTok.
Yeah. I'm gonna add it on here. For a while I've been back and forth on it because they got banned, and then it's like, well,
It's
if
still
I make
banned,
this,
right?
It's back on the App Store from what I've heard.
Oh, okay.
So you can update it now, but at some point it still wasn't. So whoever had it on their phone got it. Whoever deleted it, you're out of luck. But now I think it's
back and
there
running.
was an update saying it's back in the App Store. So to get the latest updates. So who the fuck? I don't know whether this is gonna last or not because it's a 60-day extension or 90 days. I can't fucking remember. But I was like, you know what? I'll just make it. If it's here to stay, cool. If not,
it's not. Yeah.
We got views on there. But I will need a link to the Instagram as well on there, just so people can click on that one and then just see where it goes from there. But yeah, I forgot to mention that on the episode. So hey, it's there now. Give us a follow on there.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. This has been a treat.
Oh yeah. Yeah, thanks for having us.
It's always good to
it's an honor being a guest for once.
It's always good to hear from you guys. It's always good to hang out. At the Live Wire Lounge for your CD release or your EP release. I remember just being able to hang out with you guys a little bit. I remember this guy was a little nervous, even though he won't say it.
I always say I'm nervous. I don't say I'm like.
I could tell. I'm like, oh, this man is nervous.
I'm vocal about being nervous. I'm like, no, I'm like, guys, I suck on stage. Why do you have me on there? No, but what?
It's all normal, man. Nervous is totally fine. You get over it.
Yeah, of course. But maybe I should ask or technically us and myself included this question. Where could we find us?
BTI.band, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
Yeah, but it's Beheading the Icon 5 because for some reason you gotta have a number for some stupid reason. Yeah, it's weird. Because I was struggling with that. First, TikTok put us as the icon, and I'm like, no, Beheading the Icon. No, you need a number, and all as like. It was a migraine.
Beheading the Icon 69.
Oh right. Yeah. You know what? I actually tried that and it still wouldn't let me, so I had to put 5. But yeah, I don't know what's up with TikTok. I think
Beheading the Icon 420, man.
Yeah. Beheading the
Icon. That was taken too. That was you can't. I was like, for some reason 420 didn't work, so I was like, all right, 5 actually worked. I tried every option on the book, and it's like, nope. I was like, fuck you, TikTok.
Beheading the Icon, 420, blaze it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that should be it now.
All right, cool. Well, I'm talking to you, the listener now, the watcher, the listener and watcher. Follow the boys. Follow the boys on all the stuff. They're good boys.
Share the word. Vitriol has been out for a couple months now. Keep spreading the good word of that EP. We
listen to it on all the things.
Yeah, there was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get that, all together and make it happen. So yeah, definitely. We got more to come.
Yep. All right. See you boys later.
Later, Mac.
Bye.